Hi, and welcome to What's New and What's Next with Azure Virtual Desktop. I'm Roop Chevuri, Principal Product Manager Lead for Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. And I'll be joined later by my colleague Nandita Sharma. In today's session, we are going to highlight many of the new features recently announced for Azure Virtual Desktop. We'll start with the discussion of Azure Virtual Desktop innovations that will significantly enhance the virtualization administration experience, including 𝗦𝗽𝗀. We'll highlight the work we continue to do to improve the security and stability of the Azure Virtual Desktop service, including innovations such as enhanced host pool management. We will talk about hybrid cloud investments with Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI, and we will conclude with an overview of some of the investments we are making to improve the Azure Virtual Desktop user experience and recommendations on how you can learn more about these innovations and how to incorporate them into Azure Virtual Desktop management strategy. Before we start our deep dive into our discussion of recent Azure Virtual Desktop innovations, I want to share some news regarding a recent accolade given to Microsoft by a leading industry analyst firm. For the second year in a row, Microsoft has been named a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Desktop as a Service. Through interviews with customers, partners, and our product team, Gartner acknowledged that our collective work in the past and our view of the path forward for cloud virtualization is driving value for the entire ecosystem. The recognition from Gartner, as well as conversations with customers and IT pros, have played a key role in helping us think about our approach to innovation and how we can help all our stakeholders thrive as we move forward. Let's dive into a discussion regarding the innovations we are making to improve the admin experience for Azure Virtual Desktop. For many admins, managing application delivery is the most challenging part of the job. Ensuring that users have timely access to organizations' application portfolios, which can incorporate dozens, if not hundreds of different applications, while also minimizing the amount of effort to keep them up to date, is difficult to say the least. In June of this year, we announced general availability for 𝗦𝗽𝗀. 𝗦𝗦𝗀 for Azure Virtual Desktops allows IT admins to dynamically attach applications from an application package to a user session in Azure Virtual Desktop. 𝗦𝗦𝗀 applications can now be assigned to any host pool or session host, and it supports Microsoft Entra ID. It gives admins significantly more control over application delivery without sacrificing security. Let's take a look at 𝗦𝗦𝗀 in action. We have a selection of native MSIX apps from Microsoft. We are going to take a look at the Teams app. We are going to assign this app to multiple host pools. In fact, I'm going to assign it to every single host pool in my environment. Now the app is available on every VM in my Azure Virtual Desktop environment. I can make sure the right users have access to the app. In this case, I'm going to choose an Entra ID group for my Teams users. When the new version of the application comes out, I can very easily update it. Let's have a look in my storage account for the latest version. And we can see I can browse Azure files, or I could use any other SMB storage location. I found my SimFS disk. We'll pick the 64-bit version of the application. That is now updated for everybody for the next time they log in. If I want to publish the app as a remote app, I only need to do it with one application group for all of my 𝗦𝗦𝗀 apps. I'm just going to add in Teams to my other applications. Just call it Teams. It found the icon, And there we go. After a couple of minutes, it will appear in my client feed, and I can use a hybrid identity or a pure Entra ID identity to connect to any of these applications. The Azure Virtual Desktop partner community has embraced 𝗦𝗽𝗀𝗃. Customers will see a variety of important benefits as a result of solution integration with 𝗦𝗽𝗃. They can use their existing app delivery solution to manage application delivery through a single pane of glass. In addition, customers can use partner solutions in concert with Azure Role-Based Access Security and Azure Monitoring and Management features. We recently announced that 3 leading application delivery partners have integrated their solutions with Azure Virtual Desktop 𝗦𝗽𝗃. Liquidware FlexApp containerizes applications into self-sufficient executables for rapid deployment via various methods, including cloud file sharing services. It integrates with 𝗦𝗽𝗃 to enhance application delivery and management and supports deployment with Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager, offering a versatile and efficient solution. 𝗦𝗽𝗀 Cloud Pager simplifies the delivery of Windows desktop applications by leveraging cloud-native DevOps capabilities. When integrated with 𝗦𝗦𝗃, these applications are seamlessly attached to virtual machines in Microsoft Azure Virtual Desktop, ensuring efficient and automated delivery. Lastly, Omnissa App Volumes integrates with 𝗦𝗦𝗃 to enhance real-time application delivery. It packages applications into virtual disks, which are then attached to virtual machines, streamlining delivery without embedding in the OS. This unified delivery approach ensures applications are always up to date across different environments. Together, these integrations demonstrate the power and the flexibility of 𝗦𝗦𝗃 in enhancing the application delivery and management across various environments. As you have already seen, 𝗦𝗦𝗃, combined with integration of partner solutions, provides admins with significant flexibility for managing virtualized applications in the cloud and on-premises. In addition to managing the daily complexity of application delivery, admins that manage applications packaged using 𝗦𝗃𝗑 must also be prepared for end-of support for 𝗦𝗃𝗑 in 2026. To help with daily application delivery as well as converting 𝗦𝗃𝗑 packaged applications to Microsoft's new MSIX application, this week we are announcing that 𝗦𝗦𝗃 now supports 𝗦𝗃𝗑 packages. 𝗦𝗃𝗑 support in 𝗦𝗦𝗃 provides admins with a tool that helps with migrating and managing 𝗦𝗃𝗑 applications in Azure. Let's look at the 𝗦𝗃𝗑 support in 𝗦𝗦𝗃 experience. We are going to create a new 𝗦𝗦𝗃 application, and we are going to do it in exactly the normal way. We are going to select a file from a storage account, but this time, instead of a disk image, it's going to be an 𝗦𝗃𝗑 package. Everything else apart from that will remain exactly the same as it is with the normal 𝗦𝗦𝗃 package. We are going to select our host pools, we are going to select our users, and we are going to create that 𝗦𝗦𝗃 application. And now we can use it as we would any other application, either in the desktop as we are about to see here, or as a remote app. Remember, there are no 𝗦𝗃𝗑 servers. This is just using the Azure Virtual Desktop control plane to deploy the 𝗦𝗃𝗑 applications. By adding support for 𝗦𝗃𝗑 packages, 𝗦𝗦𝗃 is giving admins another tool to proactively prepare for the move from 𝗦𝗃𝗑 to modern application packaging formats. Now, I'll turn it over to my colleague Nandita to talk about Azure Virtual Desktop Resiliency and Security.
Thanks, Roop. I'm Nandita Sharma, Principal Product Lead for Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. And I want to talk about what we are doing to improve Azure Virtual Desktop resilience. Today, we are introducing a collection of new features, currently in preview, to help admins create flexible, resilient Azure Virtual Desktop host pools that address the challenges admins face in the ongoing management and optimization of their session hosts. Collectively, we identify these features as tools for enhanced host pool management. Let's start with the session host deployment and updating features. When a session host configuration is defined at host pool creation, an admin can specify a consistent set of properties that will be used as a template for session hosts created in that host pool. With the session host update, an admin can update the underlying virtual machine size, disk type, operating system image, and other properties of the session host configuration, and apply the changes to all session hosts in the host pool. This occurs through a rolling update allowing for availability of session host during the update and results in a standardized host pool with all session hosts adopting the changes specified. Other Azure properties of the session host, such as availability zone configuration, network configuration, and location, persist across updates. Let's talk about creating and deleting session hosts at scale. When deploying a host pool with a static number of session hosts, admins must monitor workloads closely. And if changes are required, admins need to manually adjust the number of session hosts in the host pool. Manual adjustments are challenging and unscalable. They're often time-consuming and can occasionally lead to changes which affect the user experience. We are introducing a new capability where admins can easily define the minimum and maximum host pool size in a scaling plan and rely on Azure Virtual Desktop Service to automatically create and delete session hosts at scale based on the actual workload and capacity threshold defined in the schedules. Next, we'll discuss ephemeral disks. We are introducing ephemeral OS disk support on Azure Virtual Desktop in preview soon. Enabled through session host configuration, ephemeral OS disks offer a high-performance storage solution that utilizes the host machine's local disk. These disks are well suited for users with requirements for high performance and rapidly adapting workloads. In conjunction with create, delete scaling plans, ephemeral OS disks on Azure Virtual Desktop can be deployed quickly and easily, delivering exceptional performance for critical workloads while also providing the flexibility needed to adapt swiftly to evolving business requirements or security concerns. Collectively, these capabilities will save admins time and effort and allow for faster and more reliable management of session hosts with their host pools. Let's conclude our discussion of Azure Virtual Desktop Resiliency with the overview of features and framework that provide guidance for architecting resilient environments. Azure Virtual Desktop leverages the global scalability and reliability of the Azure service and provides admins with a variety of frameworks and tools to guide the creation and maintenance of well-architected VDI environments. The Azure Proactive Resilience Library provides a curated catalog of resiliency recommendations for workloads running in Azure. Azure Monitor baseline alerts are designed to give administrators meaningful and timely alerts when there are problems related to an Azure Virtual Desktop deployment. We are committed to investing in tools, guidelines, and architectural enhancements to help admins build resilient Azure Virtual Desktop deployments. Let's talk about the work that we are doing to improve security for both Azure Virtual Desktop and another Microsoft virtualization service, Windows 365. One of the reasons we achieve recognition as a leader in DaaS space is that our innovation approach is designed to deliver simultaneous benefits to Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. One of the areas where that shows up is security. Features like single sign-on, passwordless authentication, watermarking, and Purview are supported in both Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. Let's move to our hybrid strategy and talk about Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI. We created Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI to meet the needs of customers who wanted the scalability, flexibility, and scope of an Azure Cloud virtualization experience, but who were unable to use public cloud for regulatory reasons or those who needed to minimize latency for targeted use cases. Customers from multiple industries, including healthcare, government, retail, financial services, and education, have embraced Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI to help IT admins, customers, and students get the benefit of Cloud Virtual Desktop infrastructure while complying with organizational requirements regarding public cloud usage. In October, we announced 5 features and capabilities previously only available for Azure Virtual Desktop that are now also available on Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI. These features include Azure Virtual Desktop Insights, Auto Scale, Start VM on Connect, access to Windows 11 and Windows 10 single session images in the Azure Marketplace, and per user access pricing. To learn more about these features, you can visit the Azure Virtual Desktop docs page. We are also rolling out changes to the Azure Stack HCI platform. As announced at Ignite in the breakout session 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗺𝗁, operate infrastructure across distributed locations with Azure Arc, Azure Stack HCI is now Azure Local. Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI will be renamed as Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Local. Look for updates to reflect this name change soon. To learn more about Azure Local, please visit their blog at aka.ms/avd for Azure Local. Finally, let's talk about the innovations we are making to improve the Azure Virtual Desktop user experience, starting with the new Windows app. Windows app serves as a secure gateway for all Windows virtualization services, including Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365, providing users a unified experience to connect to their cloud PCs, VMs, and applications from any device. It simplifies access and enhances productivity by offering a consistent interface across different platforms, including Windows, Mac OS, iOS, web browsers, which are all generally available, and Android, which is currently in preview. This means users can seamlessly switch between devices without losing their workflow, making it easier to work from anywhere. Now let's take a more in-depth look at Windows app.
Joining me once again for a full tour is Scott Manchester, who leads our Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop team at Microsoft. Welcome back.
Thanks, Jeremy. It's great to be back, and I'm super excited to share some of these details.
It's really great to see the spectrum of options that Microsoft now has in terms of cloud PCs and also cloud virtual desktop infrastructure. But why don't we start with the app? So what's behind the new Windows app?
It really comes down to making it easy to discover all of these resources. As an admin, you just have one app to provision so that you can meet the distinct needs of your users. For example, with Windows 365, you can provision cloud PCs from Intune and manage them just like physical devices. And users get a full, secure, elastic desktop accessible from any device anywhere. Whereas Microsoft DevBox lets you provision cloud-based developer workstation for specific projects that can be customized with the tools and the code you need. Then our Azure Virtual Desktop option lets you provision and manage full virtual desktops and remote apps. And you can choose any VM configuration and deploy multi-session shared VMs. Now, whether you're a user or admin, the new Windows app gives you a unified experience. You can use it from a browser, and there are also native applications available for Windows, Mac OS, as well as mobile support for iOS, each sharing a modern and consistent experience. And coming soon, we'll make the new Windows app on Android available as well.
Finally, we've made it a priority to continually improve the Microsoft Teams experience for Azure Virtual Desktop users. We recently announced the general availability for a package of Teams optimization features called Teams VDI 2.0. These updated Teams features provide better call quality, reduced meeting join times, and higher reliability. Auto updates ensures seamless integration and streamlined support, minimizing dependency on VDI partners and enhancing incident resolution. These enhancements will contribute to our aim of reducing incident severity, frequency, and likelihood of service downtimes. Azure Virtual Desktop users will directly benefit from enhanced Teams performance. We are continuing to innovate across Azure Virtual Desktop to provide the features that benefit users, admins, organizations, and partners. The innovation pillars we covered today will provide a signpost for what we are building in the next year. I encourage you to take advantage of the learning opportunities available at Ignite. Tune in for more virtualization news in Satya Nadella's keynote address. Attend the breakout session 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 to learn more about our Windows strategy. If you're attending Ignite in person, visit our partners to learn more about our integrated Azure Virtual Desktop experiences, and of course, stop by our booth to say hello and meet some of our Azure Virtual Desktop experts. On behalf of the entire team working on Azure Virtual Desktop, thank you for tuning in to our session today.